Hi, this is Samir Marwa. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer at Sandvine, and I'm really excited today to give you a sneak peek at what we call Global Internet Phenomena Report. This is a webinar we're doing for you as our customers, and I would like to thank you for being our customers and our partners as we embark on our journey together towards digital lifestyles and immersive experiences. So let's get going. First, let me baseline ourselves. This data is based on looking at the internet traffic for over 2.5 billion users, over 160 tier 1 and tier 2 service providers across the globe, looking at both fixed and mobile, and also Wi-Fi and satellite access technologies. The data we based this report on is from 2021, and we have categorized the applications to best match the application categories. And the time frame for this report was based on the data from first half of 2021 for fixed and mobile. And we did a very specific mobile spotlight in the report that is based on the second half data from 2021. Let's also look at what the industry players and the ecosystem are saying. I'm going to talk about 5 important themes as we go through this report. The first one being we're all becoming heavy users. And this is not just Sandvine saying, this is almost all players in the ecosystem are saying. The internet traffic, and this is not our data, this is from Ericsson and Cisco. The internet traffic has spiked 34% from 19 to 20, and then further 29% in 2021. And that amounts to 786 terabytes per second of data going through the internet. The third quarter of last year, the mobile network data traffic was up 42% year on year. And that accounts to 78 exabytes per month. That's a significant amount of data going through our networks. The average household is expected to use as much as 650 to 750 gigabits per month towards the end of last year. And that, folks, is indicating that we're all becoming heavy users as we work from home and as we embark on our entertainment applications from home. Now, let's look at what we're seeing on our data from Sandvine. A terabyte just isn't what it used to be. As we all have become heavy users, there's no question that we're just not same as what we used to be in terms of our utilization of the network. We're seeing a terabyte per month power users growing significantly. This is an amount of data usage that was almost inconceivable a few years ago. And this level of usage is being driven by the amount of time we're spending immersed in increasingly complex applications. And these applications are fueling our smart homes, smart cities, our workplaces, our healthcare, our education, and so on. The average application usage is now 4 to 5 hours per day as we are engaged in our video conferencing for work, for learning, social networking, video streaming, entertainment, online shopping, and so much more as that has become part of our digital lifestyle. You can see from our report that video continues to take the top spot in terms of traffic share at 53.72%, followed by social networking at 12.69%, and web browsing at almost 10%, 9.86 to be exact, followed by gaming and messaging. Now, as 5G technology rolls out globally, our data is showing that this heavy terabyte usage is only going to accelerate. The graph here depicts mobile data usage on a more mature 5G network in the Asia-Pacific region compared with 4G. So we picked this network type just to compare between 4G and 5G traffic, since this service provider was more mature. And you can see there was a 60% increase in monthly data usage per 5G device compared to a 4G device. And there's a 16% increase in usage when comparing 5G and 4G unlimited plans. This is a sign of things to come and service providers will need to be ready to analyze and optimize 5G application and network performance to ensure high quality of customer experience. Now let's look at the second trend that we see, which of course is not shocking, that video is everywhere. And what do I mean by that? We have video on demand, we have live streaming, we have video sharing, video conferencing, video supported applications where a video is embedded in them. There's video in Facebook, in gaming, in augmented reality, on industrial enterprise applications such as robotics, security cameras, facial recognition. You get the picture. We are seeing, obviously, video is everywhere. Now, let's look at the ranking and shares of these applications. Globally, we see that YouTube retains the top spot in the traffic application traffic share at 14.67%, and then it's followed by Netflix at 9.39%. Video applications have now become such more complex mix of YouTube, Netflix, Facebook video, TikTok, Disney, Amazon Prime, the news apps, and the TV station apps. You look at these in aggregate, and you get the picture on why video is not only becoming such a huge percentage of the traffic, but it's also becoming more and more complex as it's embedded with voice and messaging traffic. The top brands like Google, Netflix, and Facebook, they've become more prominent in terms of their traffic share as they continue to enhance their entire app ecosystem. We also see more upstream video traffic due to video conferencing, social sharing, and security surveillance. And there are regional differences as we have gone out and further segmented our data shown here by region and by upstream and downstream. You can see that the Netflix takes the top spot in YouTube, from YouTube in Americas and EMEA. So Netflix went up in rankings. People have increasingly tuned to the popular video streaming applications, particularly for entertainment during pandemic. Facebook does take the top spot from YouTube in Asia Pacific, both for downstream and upstream applications, as these countries have turned more to social networking to keep in touch. And you would also see TikTok is now number 4 for up and downstream traffic in the region, growing significantly up the ranks from last report. You would also see RTP traffic, the rich text protocol traffic, that's top upstream application in Americas. And that is because of a combination of operator delivered voice and also video conferencing such as Zoom and Microsoft Teams. In Europe, we see BitTorrent took the top spot for upstream, and it's possibly due to people accessing content from other countries on this platform. Since content rights are more complex in Europe, movies and TV shows availability often comes after the US launch. So pirating of content is one of the reasons we've seen for this change. In addition, BitTorrent is increasingly being used to distribute updates to Facebook and Twitter servers. There's also, you would see in America's IPTV in upstream, and that's because of when people are watching IPTV, they are changing channels, they're doing stops and goes and record and playback. All this traffic is causing a significant upstream traffic as they use IPTV applications. So that's the overall view of the geographic distribution and ranking of video traffic. Now let's look at the top 10 applications by category. And I'd like to highlight a few key points here. Now we saw that video is everywhere, but the lines are blurring between what is video versus social versus messaging with more complex integrated applications. The application complexity will accelerate as you probably saw in CES, and you're probably seeing a lot more about metaverse. It's a network of 3D virtual worlds focused on social connection and associated immersive applications, the whole immersive experience that consumers are likely to experience from this. And you would see applications like Roblox grow in popularity. And these are the applications that are addressing the phenomena that's going on with metaverse. In the video category, the usual stalwarts like YouTube and Netflix continue to be number 1 and 2, with Facebook video now number 3. TikTok is continuing to grow in popularity, as we mentioned earlier, and it's actually now number 1 in terms of hours spent in the application. Disney Plus has also moved up in the rankings to number 6 as more service providers bundle the video service in various plans for the subscribers and enterprises. The Disney expects demand for video content to grow 10 times in next 2 years. In the gaming category, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, it's one of the most played video games of all time, is number 1. The mobile version of the game has accumulated 1 billion downloads as of March of last year. I also want to highlight that Roblox at number 2, it's one of the furthest ahead in building metaverse application. It's a free game platform and game creation system that allows users to buy, sell, and create virtual items and engage in virtual events. So now this application has moved to number 2 in this category. In social category, Facebook and TikTok and Instagram are the top 3, with more time being spent on social media throughout the pandemic. Now, Facebook's WhatsApp continues to be the top messaging application as it's used by both consumers and enterprises globally. And now you go to number 2 and we see a completely new app, Discord. While Discord was initially popular only with the gamers, it has now becoming a social messaging hub for a younger demographic. The enterprise conferencing has Zoom and Teams in number 2, top 2 spots. And I want to highlight Blackboard Collaborate here at number 4. This is an all-in-one platform that provides a more immersive and personal collaborative experience for the consumers. So we see that come up in the rankings. So you would see a lot has shifted since the pandemic and which applications are moving up the ranks and taking over from the traditional ones. Okay. In the next slide, we can see the top traffic trends based on data from about 40 global mobile networks in last year. So you would see that we have tailored this more towards seeing a short form traffic because mobile users typically don't use large entertainment downloaded movies and large files. So this is a lot more short form content of video. And obviously YouTube retains the number 1 spot, with TikTok now being number 4. While YouTube has more users with 2 billion people, TikTok is expected to reach 1 billion towards the end of last year, which we are confident it was able to achieve that. And it's significant in terms of traffic, given the fact that short form videos can eat as much as 840 megabits per hour. So Facebook and Facebook video are lower in mobile rankings compared to the fixed networks, and Netflix just completely dropped out of top 10 on the mobile networks as its long-form content is geared more towards fixed broadband networks. The Apple iTunes Store downloads became number 3, and Discord, of course, came up to top 10. So as I mentioned earlier, this app has become very popular with the younger mobile users. BitTorrent is also higher up in mobile rankings. Updates to Facebook and Twitter servers, large file transfers, all these things count for its ranking going up. And then we also have included at the bottom the adult content, which is more popular on mobile networks. And then we see Apple's iCloud being number 1 in mobile upstream traffic as people upload photos and videos and other files to their cloud storage for access from multiple devices. This is using up significant memory and mobile data allotments. So this gives you an idea of the traffic share in mobile networks. Now let's move on to our next trend. And this theme is what we call a tipping point. And we've done a blog on this, and this is something that's what we internally call a watershed moment, because we see the top 6 brands now all accounting for almost 57% of global network traffic. So these top 6 brands have more traffic than rest of everyone combined, including the service provider's own traffic. Now, have we reached this tipping point for service providers like yourselves who are shouldering massive network investments to assure application quality of experience? And that's being done to favor the profitability of these top 6 brands. So let's look at that, right? And here you can see that Google, Facebook, Netflix, Apple, Amazon, and Microsoft, these top 6 brands are generating almost 57% of internet traffic, which is up from 43% in 2019. So you can see the amount of increase in the last 2 years. And they have achieved this by becoming an integral part of our digital lives through complex app ecosystems. With these scales tipping, you, our customers, we've heard a lot that you're thinking your business models as you deliver the benefits of 5G, cloud, IoT, AI, and augmented reality, and the metaverse, and you want to assure quality of experience for next generation of applications. Recently, the CEOs of 13 service providers in Europe published an open letter calling out the fact that telecommunications sector is shouldering the continuous intensive network investment and planning that drives the profitability of these big technology brands and suggesting the need for a fairer return on these investments. So this is not a new problem, but this has become extremely exacerbated with the traffic growth from these 6 brands and you having to shoulder the burden of investing capacity in the networks to carry traffic from these brands. We see also service providers partnering with several of these top brands in 5G and cloud infrastructure, as well as service building. Now let's look at wanting to protect your brand, right? The consumers see you, the service providers, from the eyes of their application performance. So we want to ensure that you protect your networks and your brand while recent Facebook and Amazon outages were caused by issues beyond their control or brand beyond your control. But customers often blame you, the service provider, for the negative impact on their experience. So we know they see the experience through applications that are carried on your network. But if there's an outage, like we recently experienced with Facebook and Amazon, they typically blame the service provider. If nothing else, they certainly call your call centers when they see problem with their application. So when we first saw the impact of these outages, in the recent 5-hour Facebook outage, within minutes of that outage, we saw users flocked to TikTok and YouTube. So immediately, people switch to different applications. Now, this outage, as well as the Amazon outage or Tesla outage, you can see that how pronounced and far-reaching the impacts on networks can be now that the applications and services are far more intertwined and interdependent than ever before. So the quality of experience for both related and unrelated applications and services were affected. And left in the wake of these outages and slowdowns were, of course, confused and angry customers and enterprises. So still unknown are the long-term impacts. Of course, a lot of the customers come back to the application they were using once the app outage is over. But generally speaking, the customers are more apt to swap out their network providers than their favorite applications and platforms. For this reason, we see service providers need predictive insights that help them identify the macro trends across the millions of subscribers, billions of devices, and thousands of applications to assure application QoE and better manage application traffic. Now, that brings me to the 4th trend, which is the application complexity is taking off. The work apps are competing with home consumer applications for bandwidth. The best effort approaches to traffic management are no match for the tsunami of applications and the scalability issues resulting from this work from home shift, with users expecting the same quality of experience no matter where they work. This growing complexity is making your once reliable predictors of application traffic patterns, customer behaviors, and peak usage obsolete. Most probe and packet gateway data in the market today only scratches the surface. Managing to see traffic as video or social networking or web browsing, that's just not sufficient. The 50 to 70% accuracy of traffic classification from tropes and gateways just won't cut it in this complex application world. Now, applications are becoming more numerous and more dynamic, with mashups of streaming video, gaming, messaging, collaboration, payments, location mapping, and productivity apps like Uber, as an example shown here, where Uber has its own app, but it has embedded messaging, it has embedded map, it has payments. So you see a whole complexity of embedded apps. And these requirements, these applications actually require high reliability, speed, and bandwidth, as well as lower latency. Now, with 5G and IoT slices, we'll have even more mission-critical apps for public safety, remote surgery, or industrial applications like robotics or precision farming. And it makes it essential for service providers like yourselves to tackle this application complexity head-on. Applications are also becoming more multiplexed, with video, chat, and voice in a single flow to reduce latency and improve performance, as you can see here with Microsoft Teams and Skype apps. The inability to see underneath these multiplex apps can lead to a flood of unknown traffic on networks that rely on basic probes and gateways to identify, classify, and analyze applications, and then the associated performance of those applications. This complexity is made more profound by the proliferation of multiplex traffic protocols like QoE, its increased use of encryption, new internet privacy services like Apple's iCloud Private Relay, and all of which make network visibility and management by service providers all the more difficult, but all the more crucial. We recently saw 30% of traffic in EMEA network and 16% of traffic on a North American network using QoE protocol. Facebook with its Instagram, video, social networking, WhatsApp, and other apps, they're almost 75% QoE. So the question is, how much of your traffic is unknown QoE or HTTP media streaming or RTP? Because these level of classifications are just not good enough. The time is now to properly identify and classify this traffic in your networks using techniques like QoE parsing to ensure application QoE. Now, that brings me to the fifth and final message to you today, and that is where you are a major digital communications or cloud services provider. Application QoE is becoming the most important part of your brand. And why? It's because consumers consume your services through applications and care most about application performance. For this reason, it is critical to understand your customer's perception of the network, which comes through the lens of their favorite applications and how the experience makes them feel. Those service providers that can offer high application quality of experience are the ones that will succeed, and this will be especially important with the smarter, more complex, and low latency applications that 5G networks will bring. Now, application and network intelligence, we believe, should be a top priority if you want to meet your customer's application QoE experience. Whether you are in the CTO office or planning organization or operations or big data or customer care or any of these different organizations or personas that you represent in a service provider, we believe that the high levels of application visibility and accuracy, and by that I mean over 95% accuracy of application traffic, is going to bring you big benefits. It's going to bring you benefits in your customer loyalty, in your CapEx savings, in better congestion management, in higher revenue growth, and improved security. And this will have a major impact on your brand. As we expand our digital lifestyles and engage in more immersive and complex application quality of experience-driven strategy, it is critical to your success. And finally, it would not be prudent if I didn't mention how Sandvine helps you address the application QoE challenges. We are the leader in application and network intelligence. We use sophisticated and patented techniques that we have developed over past 2 decades, from machine learning to heuristics to DNS pattern IP addresses to parsers to analyzers, bitrate patterns, and we do a whole host of techniques to classify over 95% of application traffic at 250 millisecond granularity. That is the very best in the industry. No one else is coming close. And what does it do at the end of the day? It really helps you analyze, optimize, and monetize your application experience from your customers. With that, I really would like to thank you for joining me, taking the time today to hear about these latest application trends in your networks and the importance of application quality of experience to your future success. If you would like more information on the report and how applications are impacting your network, please contact us. Thank you very much.